What the hell has happened to the NBA? That's as inadvertent as it gets.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, guys. You drive right, you come from the right wing, you drive right, you dunk it, you coming from the baseline, basically, you dunk it on Giannis, you come down, your arm hits his face, and that's a technical foul? Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Somebody got to speak up about this. We can't listen. The NBA is going to do what the NBA is going to do, but public pressure forces people to reflect upon things from time to time, anyway. And this is one of those things that we got to sit up there and just say to yourself, "Come on, can we play basketball, please?" You know, Giannis went down because it was an and one. He got fouled on that play by Giannis, and because on the way down you hit Giannis in the face, that's a technical foul. Come on, y'all. It's just too much. It's just too much. These calls are ridiculous. I'm sick and tired of replay, by the way, taking all day, every day. I mean, damn, I got time to cook dinner by the time they finish evaluating a particular play or whatever. You're almost on the verge of getting as bad as baseball with how long games take because of what you're doing to slow the game down with all of these damn video replays. It's getting a bit ridiculous. That was not a technical foul. He came down, his arm came down, he hit him in the face. So what? Keep moving on, especially since you called the foul against Giannis, who fouled him on a play.
Can I ask you a question
Sure.
before I sort of answer the question about the Al Horford technical? Do you prefer that they don't have video replay? Because you want them to get it right. You want them to get it right.
Me personally, last 3 minutes of the game.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. But what about if there's a hostile act? They should call that in real time. What about if off the ball someone hit somebody in a certain area? You've got to review all this stuff.
We're talking about things that when you're talking about violence, when you're talking about harm that has been done to somebody else.
I'm not just talking about violence. I'm talking about all the plays that occur throughout a game that they review,
right.
And Twitter, us the next day, we're all in an uproar if they get it wrong.
No. We're usually in an uproar in game-deciding situations. Stuff that is subjected to human error, even when it's missed, it's par for the course. It happens. I saw in baseball an umpire call a guy out and ruined a perfect game. I forgot the name of the pitcher that was pitching in Detroit. You know, that umpire was crying. That official was crying after the game because he realized how wrong he was. Something like that is incredibly egregious. But at the end of the day, even though that shouldn't have happened, when you look at an NBA game, if something takes place in the first or the second quarter for something for crying out loud, stuff happens. You're going to make calls. You're going to miss calls.
Stephen, what are they reviewing in those situations? They're reviewing, generally speaking, early in the game, hostile.
All right, well, let me ask you.
No way around it.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. How many times have you found yourself in a situation where a play was reviewed and we still saw the referees get it wrong? It was reviewed, and they still got it wrong.
Game 5, 2014
Okay.
Western Conference semifinals. Reggie Jackson tipped the ball out of bounds. We saw it on tape. Tony Brothers elected to give OKC the ball back.
Okay.
I'll stand by that.
All right, that's not fine.
I'll stand by that.
But I'm just
and we lost the game.
I appreciate the
And we lost the game.
Somebody's still bitter. Somebody's still bitter.
It was right
I mean,
there.
nothing.
Hey, he didn't have to go far to recall
him to recall that. Exactly.
This was last night in the
Crystal
hotel.
clear.
That's right.
No, listen.
That's hilarious.
So
right off the top. Right off the top.
It's just like the other day we asked Jalen Rose about some issue that he had with a player one time, and he right away said, Ken Conley.
That's right.
He dropped it as well. Ken Conley. No one even heard of this dude, but Jalen remembers that.
Jalen remembers.
So here's where I'm on both of these things. First of all, I agree that for me, that should not have been a tech. It looked bad live because it happened so fast and it looked violent. Then I saw the replay and I'm like, wait a second, man. His left hand was up because he's kind of shielding himself from the defender. That left arm has to come down at some point.
That's right.
Came down across his nose. And the other thing is, I said, Al Horford is either the smartest guy in the world or he genuinely didn't mean anything by that because he never even looked at Giannis.
Exactly.
He did it and he kept looking this way, celebrating, but he never did. If he did this, maybe a different story. He didn't do that. So I think that's where I fall on that particular call. As far as, I texted somebody during the game last night, a group chat. I'm like, man, how about the good old days when dudes just try to stay on their feet and guard a guy?
That's right.
Everything is just constantly baiting an official. Make a call, make a call, make a call. Any contact, boom, I'm on my back. Make a call. That, to me, is what's disrupting the flow of the game more than anything. I like the review in terms of getting things right, But all of these plays where guys, they're not thinking about guarding a guy through the possession, getting a hand up contest. It's how can I try to find a way to bait an official to put him in a tough spot to make a call right now. So many plays, guys are on their back. It's nonstop throughout the game. That's what frustrates me watching the game.
So there's a couple things to this. So on the review part, which you guys, I hear your complaints. There's a challenge every game. And like last night, on Jaylen Brown's 5th foul, Milwaukee used it because they called the initial play on Drew Holiday a block, and they used the challenge. So they're going to review that. So are you saying there shouldn't be challenges, just to be clear?
I'm okay with the challenge. I think it's had a very minimal effect on the game, truthfully.
Yeah.
I don't think it's really affected the game.
I agree with that, but the smart coaches that hang onto it for plays like that where it's an important foul, end the game, I think there's value.
I'll say this real quick about the challenge. I saw it again last night. Draymond Green took one. I mean, as soon as he hit the ground, he's going like this to Mike Brown. And I'm saying to myself, if I'm a coach, you know what I'm telling my team?
Yeah.
Do not do this. You better be right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
You better, because now that one was a kind of hit, miss, bang, bang, block charge. It really could have gone either way. But there are plays that's so obvious. It's so obvious you fouled a guy. And you're doing this, and especially if it's a star, the coach feels all the pressure to appease that guy. You're asking for this? All right, we're going to do it.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.